we're watching the storm. We're on to be joined by Corporal John Helfer, the Public Information Officer for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. How are you, sir?
Good, Bob. How are you?
Good. Do I have the rank right? You didn't get promoted, did you?
No, that's the rank. That's correct.
Well, I was a proud corporal myself back in the day. Slightly different uniform.
Very good.
What is the status? How are roads in the county, please?
They're not so good. Obviously, just looking out your window, if you're listening to the calls for service on the radio, it's quite busy. Going from call to call as far as accidents are concerned.
Are there particular areas in the county, Monroe County, where it seems to be worse, where there may be a special difficulty?
I would say it's just area-wide at this point. Just the conditions have deteriorated, as we've all seen, throughout the morning.
And the calls for service are like vehicles into a ditch and such like that?
That's correct. I mean, guardrail, ditches, you name it, fender benders. It's the whole gamut at this point.
Okay. As this event goes forward, any advice or thoughts? I mean, everybody is being told to stay home. Is that how it looks from the sheriff's office?
That's correct. And obviously, the county executive issued a travel advisory yesterday, knowing that the conditions, as we now see, were going to deteriorate. And at this point, obviously, if you don't have any unnecessary travel, just stay at home. Safest place. Obviously, we know that many of the school districts have canceled, so that's good advice.
If a car does go off the road, if you do hit the guardrail or something like that, the storm continues to rage around you outside, what should a motorist do, please?
Well, your advice that was just before the break, the best message that we'd like to emphasize is stay in the vehicle. You're always the safest in the vehicle, and even we would go one step further and say keep your seatbelt on. Mm-hmm. If you're in the roadway, just off the roadway, if you left the roadway, it's quite possible that somebody else might as well. So,
and we've seen tragedies. People get out to assess their situation, or they stop to help somebody else, and these are natural and even noble things. But all of a sudden now, the next sliding car comes through, and you are a defenseless target. That's
correct. And obviously, if you do go off the road, or you want to help somebody, put your flashers on. Call 911. If you go in a ditch and you're in immediate danger, say you're upside down or there's a fire, obviously that's your first aspect of getting out of the vehicle. But more often than not, especially during the weather as we're seeing it now, many of them are slow-moving crashes or people are traveling at lower rates of speed, and we just think the best advice to give is to just stay in the vehicle.
It's shelter. It's protection. You're keeping the wind off you, and if somebody does slide and you've got your seatbelt on, you've got all that steel wrapped around you, and that's going to help you.
That's right. It's always the I think the best advice to give is just stay in the vehicle.
How we don't get in these, and we're speaking with Corporal John Helfer of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Most of us don't slide off the road, but how long might it take? How long can we expect to be there?
Well, obviously, with the number of calls to the dispatcher during a storm of this magnitude, where it's literally countywide, it's statewide, they're busy. So obviously, you stay in your vehicle, you call 911. Most likely other people have called 911 on your behalf, or if they stop to see if you're okay, they can call 911 if you don't have a phone. But it could be some time. There's a priority, obviously, that a serious motor vehicle accident would take. But if you're just off the road, you're out of danger, just stay in your vehicle and be safe.
And obviously, that not to sound like we're the AAA guys or whatever, but being prepared, have clothing or a sleeping bag or something in your car to stay warm, and food or water or whatever like that is all a good idea.
Right, that's definitely a good idea. The blankets, the jackets. I always remind my kids when they go in the car and they like to run out time, this time of the year without their jacket on. Oh, we're just going here, we're going there. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. I mean, the house is warm, the car is warm, I'm going to a warm place. What do I need to worry about? Well,
exactly. Right.
You end up someplace without a coat and you're in trouble. And here's the thing, who knows, but with a storm like this, if you're off on the road, conceivably you might have to spend overnight in your car. That could happen.
That could happen. I think we just recently saw that in some of the southern states where they were hit abruptly by a snowstorm, ice storm, and yes, in that case, many of them were overnight for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So stay home. Don't get out of the vehicle. Be prepared to shelter in place if you do slide off the road for a while. Anything else people should know, sir?
No, I think that's it. Be mindful with all accidents, and the first responders, deputies will be out there, and obviously they have the obligation to get out of their vehicle. So, and many times we've seen their vehicle struck and people injured when they're responding to accidents in this weather, because obviously a number of people are going off of the road all over the community.
And at this point, we're speaking with John Helfer, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. At this point, sir, bad roads generally across the county.
That's correct.
And not expect to get better anytime soon.
It doesn't look that way from what we're hearing. So.
Outstanding. Anything I forgot to ask, sir?
No, I think that's it, Bob.
Excellent. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's John Helfer, the Public Information Officer, and he's a corporal with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.